Sunday night. It's 9 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. We finally have our finalists. And you know what, guys? I just feel like a captain.
I'd pull that out.
The Rock are in the finals. It didn't want an easy chore, but they're in the finals. And it took a good fourth quarter, a great fourth quarter, to do it. And they are going to face the Halifax Thunderbirds, formerly known as the Rochester Nighthawks, now known as the Halifax Thunderbirds. And I heard on the broadcast this is their first time ever to go to the finals, except the lineage is the Rochester Nighthawks, in which they had a three-peat not long ago and a whole lot more. So, whoops. Anyway, the Freudian slip, right? Otherwise, all those banners are just up in the air. And because they're certainly not in Rochester now. Eduardo's with us. Eduardo, thank goodness. Eduardo from St. Augustine, Florida, which again is warmer than here. I drove through a monsoon to get to the Rock game yesterday. Luckily, the monsoon subsided by the time I arrived. That's how long a trip it was. And then, of course, after the fact, I caught another rainstorm on the way back, just to make myself comfortable. But hey, just before we get going, we got a number of things to cover tonight. Just a reminder that all of our episodes are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, also Twitch, and the next day on Spotify. Remember to hit the subscribe, follow, like buttons, always share. Please tell everybody about us. Excuse me. Please enjoy all of our affiliates across the Streampunk Entertainment Network. If you missed a show, no worries. Please take a look at YouTube at Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat, Streampunk Sports, or, of course, all across, all the time, in which you will find retro games, interviews, library shows, and so much more. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting streampunkentertainment.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. Also, a reminder that we're brought to you by 60. 60 is Canada's newest, most exciting sports uniform and teamwear brand, delivering top-quality uniforms and teamwear that reflects the spirit and identity of each team. Their commitment to innovation and excellence sets them apart, ensuring that every customer experiences the perfect blend of style and functionality. Unleash your greatness with 60. Remember, add Laxstock 10 for every single one of your orders to get 10% off on your orders. How do you get there, you ask? Well, you can go over to Instagram at sweet_60. You can email them at info.sweet60@gmail.com or go right to their website at www.sweet60.ca/60 or the QR code in the center of your screen. All right. We'll bring that out later. I had all of a sudden. Now we do. I saw a number of these in the crowd. Who knew? Who knew? Funny enough, man, I was wearing my Sandy Chapman jersey from yesteryear, and the guy with the doing the official shot before the game on the little kid. Actually, it was Iggy this time, the Rock mascot. It was Sandy Chapman. It's a good omen right away. You could feel it in the air. Feel it in the air. Even when it was 6-5 for San Diego at the half, you could feel it in the air. There's all of us perspiring, going, watch this movie. You know, I actually know what the Buffalo fans feel, because what I saw in the fourth quarter yesterday was what Buffalo has been doing to Toronto for the last number of years. Gives them that bit of hope that they're in front, and then snatches it away with a 5-8-17 goal run. The end. And that's exactly what happened. But, hey, Brian's with us. Brian, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Brian.
Before we get there, just a few things. Again, OSL, it is getting very close to Lacrosse Day for our champions, May 30th, just a couple of weeks away, over in Peterborough. All day, all kinds of lacrosse going on. And, of course, we'll finish off at Sticks across the street from Memorial Center with story time by the legends. And just an absolute who's who of legends going to be there talking stories and just an all-around good time. So if you are free on that Saturday, May 30th, by all means, please go up there. It is free, but they will happily accept donations. Also, coming up in a couple of weeks' time is the Gales' 80th anniversary and alumni game, which is May 23rd, another Saturday. And, of course, alumni game versus children. And then, of course, lots of cool refreshments. And then the Akwesasne Thunder against the Green Gales at 7 p.m. If you are a Gale and have any memorabilia, please bring it for display. Also, RRSP so that they can get you your commemorative gift. Plus, if you are not a Gale, there is a lot of Gale stuff for sale at really good prices. So if you have an opportunity, please get out there. It will be a blast. Also, if you are in the Toronto area, Variety Village to be exact, which is in Scarborough, 3701 Danforth Road, the Para Lacrosse launch day is June 5th from 2 until 7. All are welcome, and have a look. And if you are wanting to be part of it, please go to the Lacrosse Canada website, and you can hit the link there and take care of things. If you're looking to be a volunteer for Brooklyn, whether it's the Merchants or the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, please contact Jeff Kent at kent.jeffrey@gmail.com and give availabilities, and they would be more than happy to put you to work. And we love our volunteers. Alrighty, a couple of things in the OSL. We had 4 games this week. And, why don't we start with the Merchants having their home opener. And, they faced the expansion Belleville Kodiaks. Am I still here?
We hear you, but you're not
frozen.
Yeah.
Video's frozen. Your
My
audio's
picture's
fine.
gone. What happened? Just talk amongst yourselves. We'll figure it all out. I don't know what had happened there. I was here. Now I'm not. Well, just picture what I was wearing last week, and you're kind of ridiculous. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna bring Pat on, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves while I figure this out. Pat, you're looking well, man. Almost as well as I am.
Well, you know what? Listen, hey, Gary, there's nothing wrong with playing with yourself in the dark, buddy. There's nothing wrong.
We paid the electrical bill.
I hope so.
The lights.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they told me I had a face for radio. Now this is just proving it.
Yeah. It does prove it itself. Hey, listen, I'm not stressed. I have something to look towards. War Dogs off to a good start. First the Whip Snakes. I like it. Winning 16-14. Down in fourth quarter, the Schfichters got a little tight on the way over there, but I'll take the W. Michael Sowers playing like an all-star, playing like a rock star out there, scoring in transition, making a play, behind his back over 2 defenders. This is the kind of game I like out of Mike Sowers. I got to see a mouthful of them, and this was good. This was good to see a good, War Dogs win. You got to see Mike, Shawn. We talked about it many times. I know the last couple summers we want to see shooting from the outside. You got that from Connor Kelly. A lot to take away from this team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the one goal in the fourth quarter, that's, one of the things I looked at with all the games was the continuation of last year's little excursion into fourth quarter woes by teams, scoring 1 or less goals in the fourth quarter. And the Water Dogs were one of them, but they were one of, I believe, 5.
Yeah.
5 teams had 1 or less goals in the fourth quarter of their games this weekend. So sounds like that trend is not going away.
No, and it was kind of scary. Yeah, like you mentioned, Mike, it's not just the War Dogs going through it. I get it. This is opening weekend. It's bizarre that did happen. taking your foot off the gas pedal. You just can't do that. I know, especially with the whip snakes. Whip snakes are looking for revenge. They're looking to lick their chops and get a retribution back. Being the first round knockout because of the War Dogs. And this is a team you just can't take lightly. They got plenty of scoring over there. Matt Brandu and TJ. I mean, there's a bunch of guys who can score with that squad. You can't take your foot off the gas pedal. Oh,
Yeah,
there
definitely.
he is.
Yeah.
But certainly certainly bouncing back from being shut out in the first quarter to score 9 goals in the second quarter and take a 9-6 halftime lead definitely helps. You mentioned Connor Kelly again. I mean, just the outside shooting, 2-point goals, 2-point goals for Kelly. Zed Williams had a 2-point goal as well. So, the Water Dogs have sort of made that a specialty over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, the other nice thing to see is just the scoring distribution too. I mean, Sowers had his hat trick with 2 assists. We had 2 goals, 2 assists from Jack Hanna. You had a goal and 2 assists from Kieran McArdle. Jake Taylor had a goal. McConvey had a goal. Dylan Hess had a goal. Matt Witcher had a goal. So, it's been an interesting offseason for them, obviously, trading Dylan Ward, kind of giving Matt DeLuca, the green light to be the starter. Certainly, trading away Ben Randall, was kind of a big loss, but I've always been high on the short stick D middies for the Water Dogs, Witcher and also Dylan Hess now. So that I think that group is really going to make the difference for them. As far as two-way play and as far as that sort of secondary, tertiary production that you need, that's going to be enough for them to win close games.
I'm with you. It's all up to Matt DeLuca, right? This is going to be his story, his team, kind of a deal. Moving on from Dylan Ward, you're going to be the guy. To me, the scary part is, and what I saw in this game, what made Maryland so good was finding holes in the Water Dogs defense. Like whenever there was, whether it's scoring transition, when it was set screen, whatever the case may have been, when they found it, when the Water Dogs gave some kind of open space, they took their shot, and they usually paid the piper on it. And that to me could be scary some, because if you can't play lockdown defense, especially down the line, down the stretch, there's going to be problems there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something. Hey, Dominic, thanks for tuning in. Huge, obviously, for Halifax. But I think they're going to take it a week at a time. It's something you can clean up. As we get into the other PLL games, we're going to note that there are people missing from just about every team in the league because they're still playing for an NLL championship. Maybe not so much now. A few folks are going to go back. Archers are going to certainly like who's coming back. To them, but I mean, it's a good start. I think you got to take it for what it is. Little mishap to start. Made it up big before the half, held on for the win. It's a division win. That's always important. And next week they have
Boston.
They got Boston. Okay, and Boston hasn't even played. They didn't even play this week. They were off. So, and they'll be on Boston will be on the back end of their doubleheader. So maybe a chance to snag another win against the tired team.
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll see what happens. Going down the stretch, like you said, slow start for the Water Dogs. Again, maybe some of these guys are coming back from the NLL, kind of wicked, trying to still adapt that game, that inside, box game to the outdoor game, so forth. I can't really make excuses. They found ways to win after being down 5-2 in the hole, kind of a deal. So,
This just in.
no, I'll be right back.
The Ricola guy just called. I'm back. I look like an X-ray on my own thing here, but at least there's a picture. I have no idea what's going on here. At one point, it was telling me that my Google Chrome wasn't accepting the background. Same background. Anyway, kind of weird, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
while we're on all this PLL stuff, we can get to OSL later.
Yeah. I was just gonna hop over while we wait for Pat to come back. I was gonna hop over to the opening game on Friday. Redwoods and Archers. And as we mentioned, few key players missing for Redwoods. No Ryder Garnsey, and specifically no Chris Gavanaugh because he was with the Seals this weekend. Archers
not playing for the Seals, by the way.
Yeah. For Archers, obviously Brett Dobson not in net this weekend. Nick Washuta got the start in his place. They were also missing Trey Leclerc, obviously playing for the Seals, and also Graham Hossack playing for the Thunderbirds. So, but few guys coming in to the California team to take the place of Garnsey and Kavanaugh. Stepped up big, and that was Mikey Bame and Braden Maye. Redwoods get a 9-5 win, so they win their first game of the season. Dylan Ward had, I believe, a 70% save percentage in his Redwoods debut, making 12 saves. And as I mentioned before, Mikey Bame, kind of the star for Redwoods. He had a first-half hat trick, a pair of assists. Dylan Malloy, 2 goals and an assist. They got 2 goals from Andrew McAdory, goal and an assist from Josh Purcell, a goal from Braden Maye. Archers, tough way to start the season, especially offensively. Mac O'Keefe, a goal and an assist. Ryan Steins making his PLL debut, a goal and an assist. And then just a goal from Connor Field, Sam King, and CK Giancola. Washuta did make 13 saves on the night. But Archers will be happy to get a little bit of their firepower and their defensive prowess back in the coming week.
Absolutely. Now, my Atlas. Well, we're picking up where we left off. We didn't really do it right away, but we're picking up where we left off. A 16-12 victory over Chaos. And, Shawn, if anybody ever worried about Levi Anderson at some point, don't worry about Levi Anderson.
Yeah.
Just keep rolling along. 7 points in this game, 4 goals, 2 2-point goals. Just to show you how dangerous he is from everywhere. Nathan Liberty, not bad on faceoffs, 12-28. That'll get it more improved as he goes along. But, of course, Liam Entenmann. What more can you say about this guy? 18 saves, 60%. He was smoking. He is the real reason why this is a W and not an L. But of special notice, Brian Kostiuk. He always seems to be the secondary piece. This time he's got more of a role this year, especially with Jeff Teaton out there. I don't know if it'll stay that way once Teat and a few other guys arrive back. But for the time being, he is taking this and rolling with it. And he looked real good. 3 goals, all major factors in this thing. Also, how good is it to have Xander Dixon back? Sorry, 4 goals for Brian Kostiuk. 3 for Xander Dixon. How good is it to have him back in the lineup? But more than anything, watching them in the second quarter gel as a team, and Brimov 7 goals. Granted, in the third they kind of fell a little bit short, but unlike teams in the past, which have kind of folded up like a bad deck chair, they came back out strong in the fourth, outscoring the Chaos 4-2 for the 16-12 victory. A lot of really good things to start with. However, they have Maryland next week, and if they play sloppy, we're going to be talking about how they're 1-1. That's the bottom line. They got away with it here in week 1, where everybody, like you said, Mike, is missing guys. But I don't think as these teams get stronger, to have a week like this and be as sloppy as they have been in portions will do the trick, especially as defending champions.
Yeah, I mean, I will note that both New York and Carolina were 2 of the 3 teams that did not display those aforementioned fourth quarter woes this weekend.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Right. They actually played in the first and fourth quarter were actually the most entertaining of everything. Granted, it was the least amount of scoring, but boy, there were so many great defensive plays in both of those quarters by both teams. So,
yep.
But 16-12, the Atlas come out on top. And again, big game. I know it's week 1, but when you're striving for something in week 10, you think back to the one they got away in week 2. That would be this one if you're Chaos. Yep. A very winnable game. So that's all I got for you on this one, Mike. Sorry. I've been entrenched in OSL and NLL with a side order of PLL this week. So it must be summertime because I have 2 cars going and they're going in opposite directions and I'm trying to drive both of them. It's becoming very difficult. And we're only in the week 2 of the summer and MSL hasn't even started to fill up my slate yet. So it's going to be an interesting couple of months.
I guess we'll move on then to the Archers and the Outlaws. Last game of the weekend. Archers pick up a 10-7 win, kind of pick up the split, which was huge, kind of especially in homecoming and losing their first game. I think really the turning point was in the first quarter. The Archers were trailing 3-2. And between the first and second quarters, it rattled off a 5-goal run to take a 7-3 lead. I really thought that the Outlaws really had a chance when Brendan O'Neill scored the 2-point goal with about a minute and a half left in the third quarter to get them back within 2. That really could have been an opportunity to get them back in the game and kind of steal momentum back. But then again, you talked about those for the fourth quarter woes, really. Both teams had that woe in itself, with the CJ Giancola being the only one scoring for the Archers in a 1-0 fourth quarter. And really the story of the game for the Archers was Connor Fields, the hat trick and assist for 4 points. And one of the goals, actually his hat trick goal just before the end of the first quarter, was just a beautiful behind the back shot. I think about 11 seconds left on the clock. He had Sam King with 2 goals, 2 assists. Ryan Steins, goal and 2 assists for the Outlaws. Jarrett Bernhardt, 2 goals and assist. Brendan O'Neill with that 2-point goal plus an assist. A little bit of a quiet night for him, I think, for someone you're looking at to lead your team. in goal. I mean, 10 saves for Logan McEnany for Denver, 50% save. And Washuda, sorry, also 10 saves, 62.5% save percentage. So pretty good for a guy who's kind of filling in right now.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. I was gonna say, and if you're Archers, I think you've got to be relieved at the very least with the split, in your homecoming weekend. Considering the personnel you were missing, specifically Brett Dobson.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to Gary says where you look back and wish you had won one or lost one. If you go at homecoming weekend going 0-2, you're probably going to look back at that saying like, if we could have just picked up that split.
Absolutely.
Yep, and it's a conference win for them.
Yeah.
They're already 1-1, both in the conference and overall. But that win could be could prove to be enough to get them back in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't make it last year. Actually, they had a similar situation last year, I believe, where they had their homecoming weekend late in the season and went 0-2 on that weekend, and basically was kind of the catalyst for them missing the playoffs.
Yeah, it took them right out of the playoffs. Is what
Yeah.
it did. All right. And next week, of course, we are in Boston. Your early game is Carolina versus Boston, New York versus Maryland in the late game on the Friday. On the Saturday, it is California versus Denver and Philadelphia versus Boston in the nightcap of PLL week to day 2. It's always weird seeing a 1 o'clock and an 8 o'clock game.
Yeah, I think that's because in between is the first game of the WLL season.
Right.
So, and I believe that's the Charging and the Guard, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Okay. Hi, Pat.
Well, hello there. Sorry about that. That's a difficulty, but yeah, I'm back. Hey. It's a victory banana. It's a victory banana.
1 in a row.
Yeah. I'll take it. After spending the last less than 24 hours in Philadelphia sports, 2 teams losing in Game 7, I need some kind of positive to turn to. The Phillies have been playing it okay, but listen, Michael Sowers balled out this weekend, so that's all I need to see. The kid really stood on his head out there.
Well, you didn't have to worry about the Flyers losing a Game 7.
My heart is broken in a million pieces. My heart is broken. It's lacrosse season. I have mentally put that in my mind now. It's lacrosse season. Boom, bye, see ya.
Yep. And your city power your city power rankings will have the Water Dogs at 1 or 2, right?
No, they got the Union. The Union are 1 in million. But yeah. Yeah. No, listen, the Water Dogs might have to carry the city for.
I loved your comment about the Union. Actually, is that the neighborhood kids could beat them recently. I rather enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like I got 12 kids on the street who could beat them. But yeah, I'm sorry for the delay there. I know I was trying to miss a Water Dogs talk, but yeah, man, it's it is what it is. I'm excited to see where this team goes and all that stuff. Saturday on Disney Plus. If people don't know, it will be there. So if people don't have the PLL action, ESPN Plus, you can catch a game right there as well. So yeah, Disney doesn't just provide kid movies; they provide some action too.
I watched my NYPD Blue there. I'm pretty sure if I look carefully, I can get the Philadelphia Parking Authority show there too.
There you go.
That was always fun.
Yes. So, Gary, what's your thoughts with this whole Water Dogs melee from this past Sunday or yesterday?
Well, it's great to see them win.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do a lot of that last year. They came ever so close, and found different ways. But for them to actually beat a rival of Maryland is big. And we were talking about it when you were off air, is that these are the games that in week 10, when you're trying to win 3 in a row to make the playoffs, and you wish you could have gotten that one, this is that one. These are the games that they have to win early in the season. Same thing with the way New York won. Carolina will be kicking themselves down the road because that was a very winnable game for them. Maryland will be kicking themselves also because this was also a game that was in their grasp. But character of a team is the ones that can pull out games like this. And again, with the few moves that they've made, Zed Williams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's a huge plus. A big body that can score from anywhere. And as you saw in NLL, can also play back if needed. He can go on the other side of the line. So I don't think you want to do that in field, but it is there in case.
No, and like I said, for me, we got to see some 2-point shooting. Finally, got that start ASAP. We didn't have to wait till like 3 quarters into the season. We actually got that start.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Connor Kelly actually had 2 of them back to back. So that like I said, that's a big plus. Michael Sowers, like I said, looked like an MVP candidate out there. I know it's game 1, but like I said, some of the plays he was making, the overlook, shoulder no pass down low, scoring transition, the way he was just being a ball hog out there. That's what you want to see. Coming up with 2 big assists there. It was really, really fun to watch. I'm glad they got the first W.
It doesn't hurt to have a healthy Jack Hanna and a healthy Kieran McArdle.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt at all. When you look up and down this lineup, this should be a top-notch team with the star power that is on there. It's where they can all hone in and get on the same page.
Well, like I said when you were off air, Gary, it's to me, I think you've seen it. I know it's only one game. You kind of seen, for me, the season in a nutshell. You got a top high-powered offense, but your defense may get you into trouble because you got Matt DeLucia back there, where this is now, how much pressure is on his shoulders, right? No Dylan Ward. You're the guy. You're the only goalie on this team right now. And your defense, I saw a lot of holes, which kept Maryland in this game. I mean, this game came down to the wire as expected in a rivalry game. The game came down to the wire. Butt cheeks were tightened, all that. I mean, this was a tough game, and you just crawled out of a dogfight.
Well, what worries me is that they had a collapse in the 4th.
Right.
They had a great middle, 2nd and 3rd, scoring 15 goals, and had just such a for the 4th. Absolutely no energy. And that will be a real problem down the line if that isn't corrected. Shawn, isn't that correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you can't get a 4th quarter in there, you don't.
Doesn't look, yeah. I was just going to say the one thing that maybe just stands out to me a little bit is looking the other direction. They were down 3-0 in the first quarter, but then scored at 9. I mean, if you want to look coaching wise, I mean, they made adjustments. They didn't find a way to let that snowball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And sometimes that kind of, when you're just relying on a lot of scoring, that kind of is like the third base coach looking for the sign for the 3-run homer. The defense has to get in there and turn off the tap. And they were consistent, pretty much 3s across the board, but that's still 12 goals. 14 in that case. That's got to be below 10 if they want to be a really successful and have an off day on offense and still win kind of team.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one more thing I'll add is, they will be in a rather interesting position as far as having a potential piece to deal at the trade deadline. Connor Farrell's taking face-offs for them in place of Alex Stathakis, who's still injured. I don't know the timetable for Stathakis' return, but that would be interesting if he returns before the trade deadline, and they have not 1 but 2.
Yeah.
2 super face-off guys, and they can maybe they can make a trade and get a piece on defense to help kind of put them over the top.
True. Good point.
Nice problem to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be a nice problem to
problem
have.
to
And no other team probably has that problem right now.
No, not at all. But again, it'll be interesting when you watch to see how they operate against Boston in the second half of their doubleheader. And I'd be hoping that Boston has one heck of a first game, and they ran around the field 240 times, and put a few welts here and there that the Maryland offense the Water Dog offense can fly by. Be a nice way to ease into week 3, really.
Listen, if they could get another W, look out. Yeah, look out. So, oh my gosh.
This season goes by, and how quickly 12 weeks goes by, because before you know it, we're talking about the halfway point. And, the teams that don't get off, as you know, don't get off to a good start. It's so hard to chase in this league with such talent that if you aren't on the top with people nipping at your heels, you're sitting there chasing and trying to figure out how to leapfrog 2 teams to get to where you need to be. And that's not fun.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and they will have, remember, their homecoming weekend's the last weekend of the regular season. And there's actually only 3 games that weekend. So they're in 2 of them.
And Pat, just for you, you missed the opening. That's right.
You kind of look like Tugboat. God rest
You're
his
like
soul.
Tugboat here. Not a Popeye sailor,
Yeah, there you go. Okay, hey, listen, congratulations. Yeah, The Rock. Who would have thought?
Yeah, a team that couldn't make the playoffs last year. Throw the first, second, and third round picks, and they were in the draft, and look at that. Stars were born. Wait till next year. Wait till next year when another first round pick, I believe a 3rd overall, and
stop trying to trade up. It's 4th.
Yeah, it's 4th.
Don't get greedy.
Yeah, he's getting greedy now.
Well, that just means Owen's going to come this way.
But just look at the way the NLL played out this year, right? I'm thinking it was going to be Vancouver. It was going to be the Rush. I think it was going to be somebody else. It was going to, I definitely thought it was going to be one of those 2 teams that are going to, or Colorado was going to be at the end. I thought it was going to be a collision course with one of the 3 teams I just mentioned. And no, we're looking at a Halifax team that would just creep or crawl their way into the playoffs. The Rock was like a middle of the road kind of a team, and here they both are. What a great story!
Absolutely. While we're in the pick'em kind of mode.
Oh yeah.
PLL. Shawn and Mike went 3-1.
Nice. I know.
You and I went 2-2.
Okay.
That's all right.
Okay.
Good start.
Just looking at the. Oh my gosh! Would you look at that? Yeah, NLL pick'ems. It took me 72 weeks, but I'm 3-0. That's 2-1. And Caden, well, he's 2-1 as well.
Yeah, Shawn went 2-1.
2-1. Yeah.
I went 1-2.
Mike went 1-2. Mike held out for Halifax at least. Otherwise, he'd have been an 0-3er. But Shawn picked a good week to go up there, yeah? Neck and neck here. He and Caden.
Or we need to break that tie in the finals now somehow.
Yeah, 82 and 54 up top there. Pretty good numbers. The rest of us can just sit and awe.
Well, you and Pat are separated by 1 game for 3rd place, so.
Woohoo! Oh.
Just a couple of weeks ago, I was sweeping the basement.
Mike owns that. Mike owns that.
Yeah, Mike gave me a couple of eviction notices and everything, man. formal.
He locked the door, boarded it up.
Changed the lock on the damn thing, and, he actually built a different sidewalk, and I was walking down the wrong way. I got hit by a bus. It was terrible.
I said, you got to find another room to sleep in. This is mine. I am in this basement.
Yeah, right now I'm just kind of in the hallway. I'm just kind of figure out what room I'm in.
You and Pat could take the garage. That's what you two could take.
Well, I know I'm taking next week.
Yeah, there's no surprise there. Yeah.
It's ironic that you have that sailing song that they play in Halifax, but I got a rock captain's hat over here. Heave away, me brothers, heave away.
Gary, how far are you away from Halifax? Like, what's from Toronto to Halifax? How far is it from one another?
It's a 2-hour flight.
Oh, okay.
It's a fairly long walk. we have Quebec in the way. We also New Brunswick gets a little bit in the way there too, and then Nova Scotia is around there.
Oh, okay.
Right near Newfoundland is bordering on Atlantic. So it is you probably can get up there in the same amount of time as I can.
A 2-hour span?
Atlantic seaboard, right? So,
yeah.
So it's the far reaches of Canada to the east.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I was just curious.
I was actually looking to see if I could. I got to find out when game 2 is. If it's a Sunday, I was seeing if I could step aboard a Sunday morning flight and make it to the game, and then take a Monday morning flight back here. Not unlike I've done with Saskatchewan before. Not unlike I've done with San Diego before.
Yeah.
But no, be interesting. See if I can, let's see what Air Canada can do for me. I better luck at just putting this lacrosse stick in my head and put a sail on there. Hope for a while.
Yeah, it's tough. And look, I know I don't want to get off topic here, but it's showing what is the feeling right now with the Rush fans? I mean, do they feel like they failed expectations out there? Was it supposed to be running it back? What's the signs out there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a feeling that, it was a disappointing season. I think they were expecting a little bit more, but I mean, as I kind of mentioned at the end of the season for them, I think, this isn't a team that's looking at wholesale changes or anything like that. I mean, they could probably beef up their defensive end a little bit, but I mean, I think in the end, they're still happy with the team they've got. I think they felt like they could have gone a little bit farther. But yeah, overall, I think they felt they were a championship caliber team and fell short.
I would have thought that the biggest thing was years 10-1, and then by the end of the season, you're 11 and they're 12-6 or something like that, or 11-7, whatever. But that would have been a tough one to watch for a bit.
Yeah, and like I said, that all kind of started when they had that 3 games in, I think, 7 days, that ridiculous stretch, and they won only 1 of the 3. That's really when you saw that downward spiral happen.
Because I watched it last year in Toronto, watching them lose the first 5 or 6 games by a goal, pretty much each one by a goal, and they were basically out of the playoffs by mid-season, and if they would have made it in, it wouldn't have made much of a difference anyways. So it's easy to turn things around in this league if you do your drafting correctly. Mm-hmm. And with the next couple of drafts, you have a lot at your disposal. Paul Day has a lot of it at his disposal from the moves he made at the trade deadline, knowing about fishing and cutting bait. And he just took in and got rid of all the old players and took in draft picks to reincarnate wherever it's reincarnated. Hopefully it's still in vicinity.
I listen. That's going to be the biggest story for the Philadelphia Wings. Where if they do find a home, where's it going to be? Is it going to be North Jersey? Is it going to be hopefully Allentown? Hopefully it is for me. Either way, either one's not that far for me. I just hope they get land somewhere, because I need to see the Paul Day story come to a finish. I mean, the guy really did invest in being the general manager. I mean, he brought in so many young guys and moved on from the older players. You moved on from Mitch Jones, Joe Terrence, all those guys, Blair Reardon, and you brought in some young guns, and you just Dalton Young. It kind of took off after the tail end of the second half. You have this Luke Nelson. I want to see him, see if he can elevate his game and so forth. So I'm curious to know if this story can finally get ready. Maybe not here, but hopefully it's in downtown at the PPL Center.
Well, Kostiuk was in Prague with us. He was coaching Team Finland, so having some beers with him, some Rebeski beers with him up in the VIP was a lot of fun too.
Nice.
But of course, at that point, his voice was nothing more than a growl, because he was screaming on the bench for 4 days. So, how you doing? Something about just having another one. Way you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, of course, right? So, yeah, I'm hoping that they're. I don't think the league is going to say anything, yay or nay, until the playoffs are over, because that would be ridiculous to take the attention away from the play itself.
Right.
And we're looking at having one of the more exciting, freewheeling kind of finals that we've seen in a while, because both teams are known for pretty great offense. And the good news is CJ Kirst. For you Danhausen fans, that's a CJ Kirst.
Yes.
He finally got that off his back, scoring a couple of beauties yesterday, and realizing that his shot is so powerful that he can score from anywhere doing anything. Just ask San Diego. And one of the goals looks like he was heading to the bench and just kind of fired it at the net. And, good things happen when you hit the net.
Yeah.
But, I watched a lot of strange stuff in the again, San Diego was leading Toronto in the third. And to the Rock credit, nobody did anything stupid. They saved that all for game 2. And they got their composure. Remember what I told you guys. Older players do not like day games, period. Because it screws with their game day routines. Younger guys are a little more apt to be water off a duck's back because they're young. They can be resilient. Older players are used to certain routines and certain things that go along with everything all day long. And if anything is out of the ordinary, things go wrong. And when you take entire 12-hour differences, all kinds goes wrong. And notice that all the older players in Toronto in both day games, that includes the Philadelphia debacle and the San Diego one, looked like they were in cement and just looked like they were listless. Here you had a night game. You had the regular routines going on. And you had these guys. Nick Rose was unreal. He faced 61 shots yesterday.
Wow.
And he was a real reason why, when halftime came, the Rock were only down a goal. He had faced 33 shots at the half. And these weren't easy saves. He was stopping them from everywhere. Like, literally all of us were saying how badly San Diego was outplaying Toronto. They were all over them. And to the crowd's credit, by the end of the game, especially when he stopped a penalty shot, even after it was all said and done, it didn't really matter if he scored or not. At that point, it was 14-8, whether it was 14-9, didn't really matter. But when you heard the crowd, instead of "Go Rock, Go," all you heard was "Rosie, Rosie, Man, I felt like I was in a Rudy film. It was great. And if you don't think that Nick played to the crowd, when he stopped a penalty shot and he's already, for the crowd, when they won, if you look on my Facebook page, I was filming the last minute of that, and there he was, hands in you. You don't think he's pumped about that? But then back to earth in the dressing room in the post conference, and everybody is talking about the next round is harder, and be ready for that. It's one thing to celebrate this, but that's not the job finished. There's another round.
Yep, and against a team that their motto for quite some time now has been unfinished business. They
It's been unfinished since 2018.
Exactly. But
You guys hadn't even gotten into junior yet.
This was kind of another, just like we go back to the quarterfinals. One of the things I had said in my pick'em when I picked Vancouver over Halifax was I noted that both of those teams were in the position where they needed to show more than just, hey, we made the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah. And we've been talking about over and over again. This is a Halifax team that's been in playoff mode for how long now?
2 months.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Every game has mattered since March. Yeah. Every game has mattered for them. Their road to May was started at the end of February when they made deals.
Yeah, when they actually started selling, which is even bizarre, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, hey, the selling worked.
Yeah.
Ask Casey Wilson.
Absolutely. So, but what I think is about, I talk a lot about character, and nothing shows more character than you got whooped. Absolutely whooped like a government mule.
Yes.
21-10. Most teams would go, well, it was a good season. Not them. And they were down 3-1 early in this game. And took a couple of punches to the mouth. And just came back and came back and came back and got stronger and started believing. And once that happened, you watched the momentum shift. And there was nothing Georgia could do to stop it. They tried, but there was nothing they could do. Lyle Thompson coming up gimpy on one play. Ben Trumbull getting thrown out of the game for boarding didn't help. But at that stage already, the momentum shift had gone Halifax's way, and to their credit, they ran with it. And they were getting offense from everywhere. It wasn't just throw it over to Randy Stotts and let him shoot from anywhere 57 times. Clark Peterson played a big role. Jason Knox, in his newly defined role of being the guy, is running with it, literally.
Yeah, I mean, potential finals MVP. I'd
say. Oh yeah, it could be
right there. I think he's leading the playoffs in scoring. But 4 for 6 on the power play in Game 3 tonight for Halifax, and again, I think we were talking about what was it? I think Jake Withers was about 64 face-off wins away from first place.
Yeah,
all time in playoff face-off wins, and between games 2 and 3. He picked up 56 of those 64 wins that he needs. So
that'll be game 1.
So, yeah. So come game 1, you're going to see Jake Withers take the all-time lead in playoff face-off wins.
Mm-hmm. Now, my thing also is Sam English, who played a phenomenal game for Toronto. A couple of really timely goals, but 15 loose balls he had picked up. Just incredible that he is able to do all of that and be a solid defensive and offensive guy. And what happened eventually was, Toronto needed their transition game to work for them to win. Well, their first 4 goals were in transition. How about Brad Cree going coast to coast and scoring the first goal of the game? You don't see that ever. But the offense woke up. Sam English had a pair of goals. Mark Matthews looked comfortable again. Owen Hiltz was doing stuff that he was doing middle of the year. These are all really big things along the way. Josh Tolwick may not have had a lot of points. He had 1 assist in this game, but he was there setting picks and clearing out spots on the floor. He's not the biggest guy out there, but he's out there taking the abuse. And again, Toronto figured out after enough time of me screaming, I think, to get inside. And for guys like Mark Matthews to find Chris Boucher, who's sitting in between 2 defenders at the top of the crease, who can just turn around and like a pinball, boom, and it is. That's using the guys right. Another move that nobody's talking about that much is the pickup of Nick Rowlett midway through the year. From not having a face-off guy with T.D. Erlin hurt all year to having a guy who went toe-to-toe with Trevor Baptiste for 3 solid games, beating him in one of those games, and pretty much, 49-51 in the other 2 games, who is a bona fide god at face-offs. Well, he's going to have a next challenge with Withers, isn't he? It doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
But, to have somebody in there that you can have that kind of reliance on and scoring a couple of goals along the way too. Not just be a fogo, but actually contribute. Watching Elijah Gash clear out everybody in front of the net. Just literally, cross-checked them right out to the restraining line. One after the other. You. Anything within his little square, wherever he was moving. That's a 6-7 year veteran that can do that. Maybe. He's in year 3, second year playing full time at this level of high playoffs and doing it without taking penalties because he took exactly 0 minutes in penalties. Bill Hostrauser. He threaded the needle in one of the passes to Dan Craig. I actually thought it was CJ Kirst that did it, to tell you the truth. At first, and then I looked and was like, it's Hostrauser. And then when I rewatched the game this morning and watched that play, that's a hell of a play. Because it was bang bang again over Dunkley's shoulder. But also when they were killing clock at the end of the game, watching him reel through the San Diego defense, keeping possession, even doing a spinorama, and then throwing it off to Latrell Harris. 5 years ago, there's no way he's doing that. 5 years ago, there's no way you're going to have him on other than you need somebody to protect somebody. To his credit, he's become a full-rounded lacrosse player, asset on defense. And if needed, can knock you out.
Well, and to piggyback with that too, Gary. I mean, like we're talking about Toronto and look at Halifax, and even like I thought they put a big for sale sign right in front of their door after they moved on from Dawson Thied this year, midway through, because that's he was your bread and butter for your defense, a big physical specimen that would lay guys out. And I'm thinking, okay, they're selling their pieces. They're already thinking sell, and they're thinking about next year. And here they are, getting ready. Like I say, creeped and crawled their way into the playoffs. Here they are getting ready to battle. The last time they saw Toronto was on Friday the 13th of March. So, it's going to be wild to see these 2 teams lock up again and see who wins this thing.
Isn't it funny that when they got rid of their muscle of Tyson Bell and Dawson Thied, Halifax became a contender?
Yeah.
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 That they just actually go and play instead of all the other shenanigans that went along. And play they did.
And it tells you they made the right
not
move.
for nothing, but Dawson Thied did lead the NLL in penalty minutes this year. But
and it was toned down when he was
well, and you could give the caveat that most of those penalty minutes were earned in Halifax. Very few of them were earned in Oshawa. So,
right.
So kudos to him for cleaning things up.
I was just going to go back to Gary's point though about Halifax, especially about spraying that ball around. If you look at that loss against Georgia, I mean, the majority of the shots just came from Jason Knox and Cody Jamieson versus, game 3 tonight, where Jason Knox had quite a few shots. Clark Pearson had quite a few shots. He had 7 shots from Randy Stotts. They were spraying the ball around. When they spread the ball around, they're an extremely dangerous team. But when they become one-dimensional and you just 1 or 2 guys are shooting the ball, all bets are off.
They had 9 scorers today. 9 different scorers in a game where they had 15 goals. That's spreading it around pretty good.
Yeah.
And half the penalty minutes of Georgia, too, in this game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know a
good
chunk of Georgia's obviously was the game misconduct against Trumbull, but
it's
they're
also
playing,
that Georgia wasn't able to
playing more disciplined.
But Georgia wasn't able to capitalize when they had opportunity. They went 2 for 5 on the power play. Halifax went 4 for 6. They took advantage of everything that was given to them. And they had, of course, winning 26 of 30 faceoffs. They had possession a lot more. And again, 58 shots on Dobson. So, unless you're Superman.
WLA numbers there.
Well,
yeah.
That's Christian Del Bianco playing in the ALL, right? Well, he had 92 shots. Though. But this is, it's interesting to see that this team is meshed. And, well, again, Halifax, nobody expected anything from. Toronto finished well out of the playoffs last year. So you have 2 teams that are relatively rebuilt. And here we are in the finals. I'd say it's a win for everybody. Because, you may have an allegiance to one team or another, but if you just like good lacrosse, you're going to see a whole lot of all of it from both ends.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't sit and go, well, they're down by 5, let's go home. I wouldn't be doing that if I were you. Because these are the teams that can score 5 goals in 1.5 minutes.
5, make it 10 for Halifax.
Yeah.
Halifax, they can win
3 runs of 9 goals or more this year. No one else has.
Even do it.
And that's just the thing with Halifax. For anyone who wants to say, well, they're 8, what's the 8th seed doing in the championship game? Hey, they earned that.
And no referee gave it to them.
No, it was not given to them at all.
No referee lost their job.
I'm glad we can drop that discussion. Thank goodness.
Well, yeah. We don't have to worry about an asterisk with it, right? Now, granted, San Diego's defense was very impressive up until the 4th quarter yesterday when they were gassed. When they started getting gassed, that's when strange things started happening, and Toronto started scoring at will, really. But up until that point, they were punishing. And really, if you want to look, Game 2 was probably the best game San Diego played all year. Without a doubt. Where their defense was stifling. Dunkerley looked like he'd been a starter all his life. And the offense came to life and was more than Westberg. Or Trey Leclerc. It was spread out. Dylan Watson, he was a non-factor yesterday. It was kind of funny that every time he tried to get himself set up, there was an Elijah Gash or somebody else in his face reminding him that he needs to be a little further back. So Bruce Codd was obviously in their ears, but so was Matt Sawyer. Matt Sawyer, before the 4th quarter, implored to these guys on the bench, do not take it easy. Full steam ahead. And that's exactly what they did. So, is it in them? Yes. Is it in Halifax? You better believe it is. Both teams realize they're 2 wins away from lifting a trophy.
And I'm going to piggyback off you too, Gary. I think you, like you said, it doesn't matter who wins, who loses this. Like, obviously, you're going to obviously be happy you win the cup, but like you said, nobody saw either team making this stride to be in the finals, right? Everyone on paper had, whether it be the Rush, Warriors, Colorado, and based how the season was going, how it was going to be ended. Like, nobody had Halifax to be in this position that they're in, move on from Dawson Tees, moving on from their powerhouse, the physical guy. Colorado, yeah, they got CJ Kurtz, but how far can they really take? I know he was the first overall draft pick, but how far can he really go? And look where he's at now. Just when you're done with him,
Thinking myself that I didn't put $100 on Bet365 at the beginning of the year.
No, but when you're done with them, please send them back to Water Dogs immediately. We're going to need them.
Yeah. I see that one. Yeah, I tell you, it's think about it. The last time the Rock were in the finals, they lost to Edmonton in 2015, and they were the clear favorites that year, and they lost 2 games straight. The Aaron Bolt story that year, but they haven't been to the finals since. They've been close, and then they've run into whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, actually, I think it was a stat that Adam Levi pointed out. Actually, last time the 3 last teams that were standing, Toronto, Georgia, and Halifax/Rochester, the last time they were all in the finals, they all played the Rush.
Wow.
Yep. Whether it's Edmonton or Saskatchewan, yeah.
Yep. I would say it's been a long time. I want another patch on my jacket. On the sleeve is all the championships. When the Rock gave me the jacket, the premise was anytime they win, at their expense, they will put the new patch on. It's been a long time since I've had this jacket. I wonder if they remember. I wonder if the company that made it for them is still in business. I want my patch.
There you go.
Yeah. I'll even wear the damn hat if I have to go get my patch. What better thing to do, man? I might wear it tomorrow.
There you go.
Well, you guys can visit me. My vest will be like this. What's wrong with you? It's where the captain's at driving a car. But then again, I told you I saw a few of these at the game. I was amazed, especially when the concessions was the gimmick store was selling Rock all of their whatever 49 series cap for like discount prices and stuff. You know what that means, don't you? A new line of caps is about to come out. Why else would they be getting rid of the others? Anyway, wonder what we're going to get, clappers or towels or whatever. Remember, been cardboard clappers recently. But anyway, better than nothing, eh?
Better than nothing.
Season ticket holder gift was a lanyard. I have a few of those things down here. But anyways, I'm just jazzed that they're there. It's been so long. And I think back to 2011 when they beat Vancouver. Or was Washington still at that time?
Yep.
And, that day, and believe it or not, it was an afternoon game. It was a Sunday afternoon game. And it felt like Christmas morning that morning. I want to relive that feeling. It's been a while. God knows I've interviewed enough of the guys who played in that one and one in 2010 where Washington beat Toronto coming from behind. And, talking with the Lewis Radcliffes and Colin Doyles and all the other guys and part of these things. And it's just fun to relive them. But now it's time to make new memories. So really going to be interesting because, you got a good mix on both teams and veterans and youth. So there's a lot of exuberance, but a lot of guys going, wait, pull back. So it was good to see Mike Robinson back after he took that boarding thing. Because, He looked like a WWE star going to get patched up quickly, but back on for didn't miss a shift. Tell me, what do you think about Wake Rehab Bowhunter with his 2 goals?
I mean, they certainly came at key points.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's using the right guy for the right job. Credit to Kersey on that. Because you can't use him for certain different things. But for that particular idea that we needed, he was there at the right place at the right time.
Yep.
Yeah. Just like this could be the time when Jason Knox spreads his wings finally.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for years. But now he's actually showing it and stepping into the role gleefully. It's going to be interesting battles.
You know, actually, it's funny you mention Kersey because I remember too when they did all that selling, we kept saying, "Is he on the hot seat?"
Once Hazen got fired, we were talking about a Kersey. Is he going to be the next one? And maybe Hazen jumps in for him. He looks pretty settled in his job now.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty safe now, regardless of what happens in the final.
Yeah, and I'd say that goes for Patrick Merrill too.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
There's definitely no domino effect now.
No, it's kind of interesting. Everybody on the hot seat, other than Hazen. All of a sudden, everything turned right side up. Even Glenn Clark, there were some bright spots at the end of the season there.
Yeah.
But the same question is, who do you get in there better? Other than maybe teams have tuned out the message. They just need a fresh voice.
Yeah.
But who's out there that's better? That wants to do the job. That's the other thing too, right? Being in a part-time league. I was talking with Jason Crosby on Thursday on the other show. And of course he was on the bench with the Riptide, and he's done a lot of gigs as head coach. Summertime with Brooklyn. He's done it with the Gales. He's done it with all kinds of teams. And when Laddie called him up to be on the bench for the Riptide and then eventually for Ottawa, it was more like checking with the family first, and if it's okay to, boot on off for however many weekends while your families are growing without you there. So that's the number of things of why, you're not going to see guys maybe more qualified or maybe better suited, but are past that point in their life and are watching their own families grow up with their regular jobs too.
True. Hey, fellas, I'm going to get ready to rock. I'll catch you guys next week.
Absolutely, Pat. Thank you very much, as always.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure, gentlemen.
All right. That was Pat Bernard doing his Water Dogs report. But yeah, that's how I see that one. Now, before I got thrown off here and disappeared, talking briefly, I only got a couple of games to talk about, and most of them were blowouts. We had Brooklyn, who jumped out to a 7-0 first period lead. It didn't get any better as they beat Belleville 14-5 in Ontario Series Lacrosse action on the Friday. Six Nations and Collingwood. It was 5-0 after one for Six Nations. That was en route to a 17-8 beating. Moving on over to Hamilton, in which it was only 2-0 after one for Hamilton. And at one point it was 2-1. And then that was it for Ennismore, who lost that game 10-1. Zach Terry with 4, Andy Campbell with 3, as Hamilton wins handily 10-1 over Ennismore. And in the closest game of the weekend, Belleville and Owen Sound, 1-0 for Belleville after 1. Owen Sound wakes up in the second. It is 6-3 after 2. And Owen Sound rides that to a 9-5 victory. And to look at the standings. Brooklyn sitting up top with Six Nations at 2-0. Hamilton won their one game so far. Owen Sound has won their one game. And then Collingwood has lost one, and Belleville and Ennismore are both looking for their first victory of the season. Next week is a lighter week. Only 2 games on the slate, both on Saturday. Belleville is going to Owen Sound. Hamilton is going to Six Nations. And that is where that will be. I most likely will be in Six Nations on Saturday. Hamilton on Friday, of course. I know the game 3
And maybe Halifax on Sunday.
Well, I know game 3 is the following Saturday, so I'm assuming Halifax on Sunday. I know that if it was Georgia, it was going to be Sunday at 6 p.m. here for game 2. So I'm assuming it's the same idea there.
Yeah, that's what the NLL website is showing right now. Game 2, Sunday, May 17th at 6 p.m. in Halifax. So
Is it 6 p.m. Halifax time or 6 p.m. our time?
It says
Assuming that's Eastern.
Yeah, it says 6 p.m. our time.
Okay.
Eastern.
All right. Still a 7 p.m. Halifax game.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
And if that's the case,
7:30
then
Newfoundland.
4:00 my time.
Shawn just come up there. It's lunch siesta.
Yeah.
so we may have another 9 o'clock next week.
I would say that's a safe bet.
Yep.
Since that's game 2 and that game has to be played. Now, whether never mind. Whether I make it or not, it depends on where.
Might scrape Gary off the ceiling, but
or out of the gutter. Yeah, I held together pretty nice after that San Diego Sunday game last week, right? But hey. What can I say, man? Gonna get a lot of use out of this thing over the next week or so. More use than I've had for last since I got it. We might all wear them and have a family photo. What can I say? Well, that's the week that was. And interesting. Even though less is more, it seems. Some great games. And, well, more of the best is yet to come, as they say, right? Just a reminder, everybody, we are on Facebook, we are on X, we are on Instagram, we are on Thread, we're on YouTube, as well as www.streampunkentertainment.com. Please check us out 3, 4, 5 times a day, as the news is always changing, and it is our privilege and pleasure to give you the news as quickly and as accurately as we can. And that's about it for now. I don't think we're going to see a lot of movement in any of the summer leagues. Maybe MSL with the occasional little move here and there. But you saw, I don't know if you guys saw McMichael is calling Six Nations to fall flat this year and Brooklyn to rise. And watching the moves that Gavin Prout has done, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. And they keep signing bigger names. So this is going to be an interesting year. It could be a lot of fun over in Brooklyn this year. I know every game is going to be meaningful. Between, you're looking at the upper echelon now being 3, maybe 4 teams. Because Oakville's no slouch either, and they did a lot of shifting and moving. But don't forget, Ty English will be over there again in the summer. As captained by Josh Dawick, the Oakville Rock. Challen Rogers was one of the coaches. I don't know if he's going to, don a uniform again or stay as a coach. Interesting as well. And then, of course, what's going on in Brooklyn. Peterborough is always potent. And I'm curious if there's going to be a move that Nick Rose comes back to Oakville now. Because remember, they traded him for Landon Kells last summer. In fact, the joke was when Jamie Dawick's birthday was, Nick Rose goes, "I had a gift for you, but I returned it because you traded me twice in the same week." Traded from Toronto to Calgary and from Oakville to Peterborough. Interesting. But of course, the biggest giveaway was him wearing a Rock helmet playing for Peterborough. Interesting.
Yeah.
He was also behind that big Zach Higgins kerfuffle in the playoffs with the wrong equipment. And if you remember correctly, they pulled him, and he who stood in the tunnel, he wasn't anywhere on the bench because he didn't have the right equipment either. NLL equipment. So he told him to call it, and then got out of there. In true sportsmanship fashion. Just ask Paul Dawson.
Gamesmanship, that's all.
Anyways, I want to thank everybody again for being with us, even at our different times. Next week, again, will be a 9 o'clock start because of playoff games. And then, promise, once we're in the summer bowl, we'll be back to normal. Well, as normal as we can be. But it brings us to last words. Shawn, let's start with you this week. Last words.
Yeah, you know what? Just really looking forward to this finals. If it goes 3 games, I would not be surprised whatsoever between these two teams. There's not much between them, and especially what Halifax has been doing has just been unbelievable. And other than that, you know what? Prairie Gold Lacrosse League's up and running out here, so I'm really excited about that. The Senior A and Senior B and Junior B. We actually have a new Senior B team out here in Moose Jaw, so really looking forward to getting out to some of those games, especially when Standing Buffalo comes to town, because we always know what kind of team they put on the floor. So really looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Mike, last words to you.
I'd like to applaud the NLL for not making Paul Dawson Stick a finalist for MVP.
Very nice.
Very good, yep.
Very nice. I am jazzed that we're in the finals again. I have something to do with it. That the Toronto Rock are in the final again. I am jazzed because it has been a long decade plus a year before we are even bridesmaids, let alone brides. We're always sitting in the 4th row going, "Hey, good show. That's great. Hey, that was wonderful. Hey, I hope they win." This time we can put allegiances in. So it's kind of fun to be on that end of the spectrum. To think that when we're all growing up, that we did this every year and thought it was normal. And then it didn't happen for a while. And then it didn't happen for a longer while. And a longer while. But we're back on a year where nobody planned it, which makes it all the more special. Just think, man, when I had everybody sign that one jersey, that could be the champion jersey. Who knew? You just live these things as they come. Also great to see PLL back in action. It's been great to watch some of that stuff. Absolutely fantastic play. So it's going to be fun. It was also inspiring to see Mike Rabel talking about building with the NLL. Now, with the Olympics coming up, that's a very important quote, that the two of them work in tandem, which means for a change, we're not going to get in each other's way. If they actually are on the same page and put all their resources and all their forces together, then maybe, just maybe, I can believe there's an exit strategy that we can hit to the next level or 12 and actually hit to the skyscrapers instead of just sitting mediocrity over here and keep looking at ourselves going, why did we do that? And why did we miss this opportunity? Finally, an opportunity where everybody is there and can actually grow it. And whether it's 6s, whether it's 14s, whether it's box, field, trees, I don't care. I don't care about tradition. I don't care about this. We can teach all of that. But you need eyeballs to teach it to. Let's get everybody watching because it's infectious. Nobody has watched this sport and goes, nah, I don't like it. Nobody. So if we can get another 300 countries to take a look at it and actually have something to do to build from it that we're all in agreement about and follow through, hey, we're on to something for a change without getting each other's way. That's the biggest thing. It's not about getting the world to see it. And we said it all the time. We've said it forever. We just can't get out of our own way. Well, we have a perfect opportunity to make sure that we're not in our own way. So let's grow with this one. Let's get it done, including the sixes tournaments that are on now, because they're important. Because one, you're getting your players used to it. Two, you're getting your audience used to it. And three, you're working out all the bugs so that the best product we can humanly put forward on the Olympic stage is there. And it's not hard to get anybody to go for it because who doesn't want to have an Olympic gold medal? How many of those are in there in the world? You know, that's still a big deal. And what a platform. So I'm really excited about that and some of the other things that are going on that Lacrosse Canada is working towards fixing their mess. Transparency would be a great start, guys. Up and down the board. You know, we don't hear this stuff with US Boxla, do we? You know, granted, they're not as big and not as been around as long, so they haven't created as many problems for themselves. But they just seem to be more in a structured organization than this fragmented thing that we've had for years as, you know, Canada Lacrosse, now Lacrosse Canada, whatever you want to call them. But for them to be on top of the provinces is putting the head on top of the horse, not underneath it. I never understood that, ever. Why the provinces dictate to the governing body what they're doing. At least now we have it correct. Now it's building structure and sticking to it. So there may be some growing pains, but they got 2 years to figure it out. Year and a half, because we got to have our qualifiers. But that's for another day. That's for another day. Again, I want to thank everybody for being with us week in, week out, and all your comments and all your great things that we see when we see you live. We really appreciate it. So until we meet up again next week, for Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw, for Muffler Mike over in Connecticut, I'm Gary Groob in Toronto. Remember, keep your sticks high, keep your spirits higher. Go Rock Go. And until we meet again next week,
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Have a great week, everybody.